Welcome, everybody. We are live. Welcome to the Chronicles podcast, live edition. I'm here with my good friend, Mr. Donnie the Mayor Wise, and apparently, my good friend is feeling some kind of ways, right?
Man, when old age catches up with you, it catches up with you. It really does. Like, I don't know. Maybe I need to be doing some of the stuff Brockmire's doing, but I don't think I could handle that.
No, you will not be able to handle that. Don't you
No,
dare do that.
no. My oh man, I thought my leg was gonna fall off last night.
All right. So first of all, thank you everybody. And welcome to the
Yes,
Data
thanks for
Chronicles
coming.
podcast. My name is Ed. I also go by as the Dad Head, and then my good friend Mr. Donnie the Mayor Wise. He goes by the Mayor. We're here. We're going to talk about season 2, episode 2 of Brockmire. I have an outline for you, so we'll talk about it here in a minute.
Okay.
But as we always do, right? We do a little bit of catch up of what's going on in our lives during the week and everything, because obviously we both do different things,
Yeah,
and so we're gonna figure out some things tonight. So the first thing I should say is we both hung out yesterday.
we did.
Yeah, we
And we
did.
had a good time yesterday. We
It
had a
was a
good
really
day. It
good
was a really
time.
good time. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. My daughter was loving where we were at, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I got
so
to meet you at Edit Brewing, where you guys hang out after your Sandlot stuff, your opens or your games or whatever.
yep,
Because I was really wanting to check that brewery out, and it is fantastic brewery. Food
yes,
was
it is.
really good.
The food is amazing. I love the
Really-
food there.
Oh man, it was so good, so good.
So, and for those of you that don't know, my Sandlot team, we are sponsored by a brewery. It's called Edit Brewery. Really nice brewery. They have a lot of good beers there. Yeah, you're wearing one of their beer. Actually, that's actually one of their beers. You know that?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think you bought
I
that.
did.
You did.
I
You
bought a
bought a
four
four
pack of
pack.
this. Yeah, I bought a
Yeah.
4-pack of this one. I love this hat.
Yeah, that's a nice hat. I love the logo. It's so cool, right? And so the Mexican sombrero is one of my favorite ones there.
I didn't try that one. When I went back for my second one, I almost got that, but I decided to try a different one.
Yeah.
But I plan on coming back and trying more of those
Okay,
beers
good. Yeah,
for
obviously,
sure.
yeah. So we're gonna go and do that. So, anyways, listen. So we did that. So I was playing yesterday. I played yesterday. I also played today. I played softball today, and then today I got my uniform, my jersey and hat. I am also playing softball, and then you guys are not gonna see me on Wednesday night because I'm gonna be playing at the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So our first game of the season, it's at 8:30 Wednesday. And
Okay.
check this out. I don't know if you ever heard this, but we are doing 1 hour softball games.
Hmm. Okay.
It's just 1 hour. That's it. 1 hour. Whatever score it is, wherever it is, that's where we're at. Which I found very interesting because I've never played anything like that. In all the years that I play baseball and softball and all
Yeah.
that, I've never had anything where it was a timed game. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, hey, listen, whatever, it is what it is. We'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm very intrigued on how this is gonna go. So
Well, welcome to the 21st century of ADD.
well, so here's the thing. One,
I'm
yes,
just joking, but it seems like
you
everything
are, but
now
you're not.
is
But yeah,
it's so like we got to get it in a time period. You know, banana ball, boom, this thing, boom, this thing, boom. Like
yeah.
it's
Well,
all
it's
about how fast can we get it in the attention
in and out.
span
Oh,
that people
one
don't
hundred
have.
percent. It is 100%
Yeah.
what you're saying, right? And here's the thing, no joke. Like it's funny you say that because it's like, oh my god, this thing is gonna go fast. But also at the same time, from what I understand, there's game at 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, and then I think there's a 9:30 game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so there's like boom, 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 back to back to back to back to back. So apparently that's why. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, like that's a lot in one, like, you know what I mean? And so
But if you think about it, I mean, I can get it too where, like, with softball, like, if I was playing softball,
Mhm.
I don't wanna be out there for 2.5 hours playing. I mean,
Brother, I played 4-hour games. I get it. I
yeah, it's like,
understand.
I kinda get it because it's like, you know what? Let's just get out there and let's just play for an hour, and what happens, happens. It's like,
Mhm.
we're not out here to make money. We're not out here for a career. We're out here just to chop it up, hit around, play a little bit,
Yeah.
get some exercise, work up a sweat, and after an hour, it's like, "Hey, okay, it is what it is," you know? It's not like it's, you know,
Mhm.
some major competition that, you're the champion of whatever, so
And that's the whole thing, and, it's funny you say that because there was a conversation that we were having, and I'm like, "Guys, let's not overdo it here." Like,
right.
at the end of the day, we all have jobs.
Yeah,
Like, this is fun and exciting, and I'm glad that we're doing it, but at the same time, we're like, "Let's not overdo it," right? Like, let's make sure that
right.
we are just, like, healthy enough that we can go back to our jobs the next day, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
And so that's what's up. So,
Okay,
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
awesome.
I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Like I was supposed to hang out today with a couple of friends, but like I had to do meal prep. Brother, that's a lot. It takes a lot of work. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And so, all right, so I've done enough. How was your week, my friend? Because obviously, I'm calling you one-legged hoppy.
Well, so I go tomorrow to find out the results of my MRI that I had my MRI on
Yes.
Friday for my lower back issue, and I've got a bone spur and all that kind of mess. It's not something everybody here is probably even concerned about.
Mm,
But actually was weird because coming up there yesterday,
yeah.
had a great drive up, no problems. Even my friends from the day before, "Hey, how's he doing this morning?" Because it was bothering me Friday night at dinner, and it was like, you know what? Basically, like a point 0.5 to a 1 on the pain level. Drove up, was doing fine. Got to
Yeah.
your house, it started to bother me a little bit, but not much, just because I'd been sitting.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was like a 3.5 hour drive from
Yeah,
where you were from
yeah.
here, yeah.
We had a few beers, had a little bit of food, was fine. Um, from the brewery to your house was okay. Got in the car, drove over to Wilson for the ball game last night. Everything was good. And then it just freaking fell apart on me, man. It just I
Dude.
and I don't know, it's like I got out and I ran down there to get a picture at the front of the stadium, and then I came back up to catch up with you guys, and it's just like all of the pain that I'd had in my thigh
Mhm.
moved into that joint, like that hip joint there from my left leg, where my left leg attaches to my hip. And I know you guys in the chat and you guys listening are like, okay, all we're hearing about is old man stories here, but it is what it is. And by the end of the game, dude, I could barely walk. You saw it. I was like,
Dude, it was like, I was walking with you, I was like, "Alright, let me wait for him because this is gonna be,
and Rhonda said, if she's having to wait on me as
dude,
slow as she walks, that's how bad it is. Cause I mean, I was hobbling. I was really, I
I
mean,
about died."
I was about to die. And you were like, "You want me to drive?" Like, "No, no." And I drove back to your house, which was about an hour and 20 minutes back to your house.
Mhm.
And when we got there, I told Rhonda, "You gotta drive home." I got in the passenger seat. I laid that thing back flat. I barely got comfortable. And then next thing I know, she's pulling in at Bucky's in Florence. Like, I just like, boom. I went out and we stopped at Bucky's for a few minutes, restroom break. She had to get her a Diet Coke or something to get some caffeine. And I think the next time I woke up, I said, I got to go bathroom again. She said, well, I'm getting ready to get off here in Lexington at the house. So
You're
we,
holding it.
yeah, it was like,
You're not going. You go better hold it.
yeah. So fortunately for me, I did at least get some sleep and enough to where it didn't aggravate me. But dude, I barely got up the stairs, got to bed, and then today it's gotten better, just from resting. I think I overdid it yesterday. I just think all that moving around at the stadium overdid it.
Yeah.
But I hope to hell they give me some kind of shot tomorrow that just deadens whatever this is.
Yeah, I hope that you do. And here's the thing though, like, we're both gonna be in Iowa in a couple of weeks,
Oh, this
right?
better be better
So,
by Iowa.
dude, I was that's the one thing that has me nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I'm, like, super nervous for you that, like, we're gonna go to Iowa and you're not gonna be able to move it around and everything, right? Because by the way, for those of you who don't know, like, uh, we're part of corporate media, right? And we're one of the co-founders of corporate media, and so every year we organize a what is called the corporate media meetup. And last year we were in Chicago. The year before that, we were in North Carolina, right? And then our first one was in Minnesota. So this year we're going to Iowa, and the reason why we're going to Iowa is because we have two teams that we can go watch, and then also the Field of Dreams movie site is there. And so I know it's been on my bucket list. I know you've always wanted to go there as well.
Absolutely.
And so it's going to be very exciting. But like my worry right now is for you is because like, I mean, you're going to be driving.
Yeah.
Why? If you sub, I don't it. Thank you so much for subscribing. Listen, I get it, man. I listen. I'm nervous for you, brother. I'm super nervous for you. Let's just hope that by when you go tomorrow to go get your MRI and to go get everything done, that you're able to just go ahead and say, "Hey, man, this is what we got to do,"
Yeah.
and there's no issues there.
Well, I can tell you this, I'm not missing this trip.
Oh, I know you're not. I know you're
I
not.
don't care how bad I feel, I will be there and I will make the best of it, and I will do my best not to ruin it for anyone else. But I am not gonna miss out on this trip any way, shape, or form.
There you go. So, and by the way, we do this live stream every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We are live on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Facebook.
Yeah.
So if you guys I would love for you guys to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for coming and join us. What we do here on this podcast now, and this I think this has been the evolution of the Data Chronicles podcast, is that we're now going into watching and reviewing sports specific shows. Obviously, we both are massive fans of baseball, so we started with Brockmire, which is one of the shows that we've always loved. And so we're on season 2, episode 2 of Brockmire. When we finished season 1, we reviewed the Sandlot movie, which obviously we both love as well. We both have different opinions of the Sandlot, which I really do appreciate that we're both like not on this podcast and we're like, oh no, we agree on this,
Right.
which would make for a very boring podcast, right? And
Absolutely.
so we're tonight we're going to be reviewing that. But last night, like you said, last night we were at Wilson here in Wilson, North Carolina, which is about hour 20 from where I live. And if you guys don't know, in Wilson, there's a team called the Wilson Warbirds, and that team was originally the Zebulon, but they were in Zebulon. They were known as the Carolina Mudcats. Now that team is owned by the Milwaukee Brewers, and so they moved. And so Donnie and I had challenged me for a while back when I had first, like a couple of weeks in, that I went in with my daughter. We watched this. We went to go see a game there. I had my feelings on that night about the ballpark. And so you were like, yeah, I want to go because your team that you follow in minor league baseball, the Columbia Fireflies, were going to be there, and you're like, I want to go just to see it, get it checked off the list of the teams that I've gone seeing, and you did.
Yep.
Um, we went, you saw it,
Yep.
and I said to you that I would go and I would give it my honest opinion. Now that they have the majority of the season in, I'm gonna say this, and you're probably gonna be like, yeah, that was expected. A lot of my thoughts on this have not changed.
Mhm.
Um, and I want to get your opinion before we continue to Brockmire.
Okay.
I want to get your opinion on the Wilson Warbirds and their stadium. What are your thoughts?
So I thought it was okay. I thought the stadium's very nicely built. I think it's a nice stadium for that level. I think it's a great layout.
Yep.
Um, I I only have a problem with the food, to be honest with you. I get the problem that you had with the kids area, and I get that too. Some of that being, concrete uh,
Mhm.
playthings for the planes for them to
Sure.
play around on, and I get that. But it's an enclosed play area,
I agree.
and
That's a
so
plus.
that's the plus there, because then you have, your kids aren't just running in and out of there.
Mhm.
The kids have to be sort of supervised a little bit. They have to be let out in a lot of cases. So you have some security to some extent there as well.
Some I have
Some,
some thoughts on this.
but it could be better.
I agreed.
But it's a very nice play area.
Mhm.
And a lot of teams don't even have one. There's a lot of stadiums don't have a play area for kids, but there are some that really do well. So that was done well. I think the fact that they have like where we sat, we got there with standing room only tickets because that's all that was available when
Oh my god.
eh,
Did we misjudge that?
we totally misjudged that. Although there were a lot of seats not being used. And again, and that's just like I had told Rhonda, there are a lot of season ticket holders, or a lot of corporate season ticket holders who may not have everyone show up for every seat, even though it's
Yeah.
considered a sellout. So, but anyway, there's railings along the outfield, tall stools to sit at. I actually thought that was a pretty good spot for us to sit at, a good view of the outfield.
I
I
enjoyed it.
mean, I mean, you were talking to the left fielder for Columbia. You liked his glove,
Yep.
and of course, he's from the Dominican, so you started talking to him in Spanish and had a good conversation with him there for just a brief moment and all that.
Mhm.
And it was, and I think guys like that appreciate it when someone speaks to them in their native language, because they don't
Sure,
probably
yeah.
expect that as much. But anyway, the whole layout of that stadium, the way the bullpens are done, you can go stand down there and watch the relief pitchers from up above getting warmed up. It's a 360 concourse. Um, they do a great job with the mascot. He's out and about a good bit, it looks like. They have both ice cream and Dippin' Dots. They have a fairly decent team store, which you and I found out is probably going to be improved next year because of
Well,
some
at least
things
that's
they're
the hope,
doing.
right?
That's the hope. Um, so my only negative really is that the food options were just way basic. And I like the hot dog that I had. I know you said it was one that wasn't a big fan, you weren't a big fan of it, and it could have been
I'm
better.
not a fan of the red snap
Yeah, the red
hot
snap,
dogs.
yeah, but this was it was a nice jumbo hot dog, threw some sauerkraut, mustard on it. To me, it was a good hot dog. I enjoyed it for what it was. Um, they just basically had that. They had chicken fingers, they had burger, uh, no real specialty thing. The barbecue pulled pork nachos,
Mhm.
that Darla got, you said was pretty good. But that's probably the most specialty thing they had was pulled pork nachos.
Yep.
So they've got to up the food game. They need to bring in something more local, some more unique items. Um, for their first year, and my first impression on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll start them at a 6. I think they're at least a 6, pushing a 7
Mhm.
for a single A stadium. Because there's some single A stadiums that aren't even that good.
So here's okay, so stadium-wise, this is what I told you. It's a nice stadium.
Yes.
There is some good amenities to it, but if you were to tell me this was the home of the Warbirds, right? And I didn't know who it was, like, I wouldn't you wouldn't, you know what I mean? I was like, "Hey, we're going to a ballpark," like, the lack of identity is my issue with this ballpark, like, there really is no identity, like, if you didn't know that,
True.
right? Like, I mean, you saw the big sign at the front of the stadium,
Yeah.
right? I think somebody were talking about it, somebody told you it's like, it looks like a was it Memorial Stadium, was it?
Yeah. Memorial Stadium. I think Kelly said that. Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly said Memorial Stadium, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's which is listen, it's a very old school look that they gave it.
Yeah.
But if you were to go in there, like, there's really no identity that would say, "Hey, this is the Warbirds," right?
Right.
Like, if you're telling me you're the Warbirds, then you do some like based on the info on the logo and everything on the colors, do some signage and give me something to say, hey man, this is the hangar bar, or this is, you know what I'm
True.
saying,
Yeah,
like,
they could have leaned into the aviation theme a little bit more.
agree, yeah, exactly.
And you're right. They could have had they had a nice outfield bar area where
Hmm.
you and I got some beers and nice liquor drinks. I mean, it's a full bar out there. But you're right. They could have called that the hangar and said, the outfield hangar, or whatever. You
Right, because it's covered at the same
Yeah,
time, right?
it's
So you
covered.
you
Yep,
make
it's
it look
nice.
like a hangar,
Yep,
right? Make it, like I said, make it look like a hangar. Get some aviation pieces in there and things
right.
like that, and then you're like, all right, so this is it. You know what I mean?
Yep,
This is a truly the hangar bar, right?
yep.
Boom. Listen, guys. If you're listening, there it is. It's called the hangar bar. Just
That's right.
I'll give it to you. Have at it. Right?
Yep, go for it.
Yeah.
What's up, Mark?
What's going on, Mark? How you doing, bud? Welcome again,
So
man.
that's why I think I'm like at a 6 or 7, because I think it's better than I was expecting from the few things I had heard from
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of room for improvement. And like I said, it's their first year. They did kind of just throw this together, if you will. I mean, it's like all of a sudden they decided we're going to build this stadium. They rushed to get it done, to get the Mudcats moved over there,
Yeah.
to kind of get everything situated. It's in a decent area. I think maybe eventually, if they can grow that area around it a little bit better, free parking. I mean, you can't beat the free parking. That's a plus too. So it has a lot going for it. I think it's one of those things. Let's see where they're at in a year or two, and that'll be the telltale sign of success
Yeah.
or not.
So we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see.
We'll see. That was one thing, and we did talk to the one of the merchandise guys.
Yep.
You did spend a lot of money there. But he was
I know.
telling
I
me,
went in there to get one hat. I said, I'm gonna get one hat. And
yeah,
then I saw a second one. I was like, huh. And he's like, well, if you get three hats, I'll give you an extra 15% off. And one of the hats that I was looking at was already 50% off.
correct.
Um, so yeah, he kind of he hoodwinked me a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
there,
oh yeah, he bamboozled you there.
but
You're done.
but you know what? I got a nice dad hat with the original logo on it. I got
Mm-hmm.
the W hat in a fitted, and then I got uh
250th.
the 250th anniversary 4th of July hat, which was that's a really nice hat. That's actually one of the best ones I've seen, partly because it's got the W on it and the flag plays
Yeah,
very well on that W.
agreed.
I think if they had done the bird logo on there, it would have
It would
looked
have not
horrible.
worked. Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked. So I'll give them that. And you know me, I'm willing to try to support these teams as best I can. I
Hell,
didn't
I
really see any.
supported them.
Yeah, yeah, you did, and I didn't really see any shirts that I really wanted. But the hats were fine. I got the hats. I got my pin. I bought the pin from a map over here, and I got the one that says inaugural season on it.
You did.
So I'm all good. I do want to make another trip back up there, but it probably won't be next year, maybe the year after, or no, who knows? Maybe it will be next year. Maybe I'll be like, hey, Ed, let's catch a game next year.
Which again, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I also purchased a hat myself.
Yep.
I bought the dad had the W
Right.
in teal.
Yep.
Because they have three different hats that they have, right? They got the one with the bird head, and then two that are W's. One of them in kind of like that rusted
Sort of a
rust red.
rusty burgundy kind of color.
Yeah, and then the teal, which
Yeah.
the teal is my favorite one. That one actually my favorite one.
Yeah.
And so I bought that one. So there you go. All right, I think that's pretty good, right? I think that's we covered that enough.
Yeah.
So I've supported the team, guys. I did it again. I did support. I bought something. You know, I did what I did. Okay, I have no regrets.
And I'll say this, for Mia, Mia had a great time there, and that was good to see too for her as a
Mhm.
kid.
Oh, this
She en
kid, dude, was sweating like crazy
she
playing.
was,
Yeah, that kid was,
but she
the
enjoyed the
fireworks.
play area, she enjoyed the fireworks.
Which, by the way, kudos to them on the fireworks, brother.
Fireworks, the only my and we said this at the time,
We did
our
both
only problem
agree.
with the fireworks was the location of the fireworks, because they
Yeah.
did them right down the left field line, kinda between the building and the foul pole, which was a weird spot. If they had them out beyond center field, which they do have a huge gravel lot out there,
Hmm.
would have made it a whole lot better experience to view them, but that's one of the longest and
That ending was really good.
that ending was good. Those went on forever.
It did.
That's one of the best fireworks shows I've seen in a very, very long time. So I'll give them, extra half
You
point
got
for
yeah,
that.
exactly. That signage or like, with the sponsors that really annoy me. The bright light of
That
that
did. That
was
did.
really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys look at, my Twitter post, of the fireworks, you'll see there's a handful of little lighted, logo signs that take away from the fireworks, so
You see this kid behind me? Hey, say good night. Good night, doctor. All right, I love you. I'll see you in a
night,
little bit.
Mia. So yeah, that because it's just distracting to see all of that glow
Mhm.
as you're trying to watch the fireworks go up in the air, and
Yeah,
especially if you're trying to take a picture, it really takes away from the pictures that you're trying to take of the fireworks.
agreed.
But anyway, so
Anyway, so all right,
let's move on.
so great place. If you want to go watch it, the one only thing is like it's super far, uh,
Yeah, Wilson is kinda out there.
in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, it's not as far as Kinston was,
But
but it's still out there.
yeah, exactly. So,
So,
all right. So let's talk about Brockmire season 2, episode 2.
yeah,
A little bit of a recap, right? Last episode, at the end, you ended up that you see Uribe shows up at the very end, with some paraphernalia drugs. One of them being horse tranquilizers, and so that's where the season one, season 2, episode 1 ended. Okay,
correct.
so now we get to episode 2, and in this episode it's all about Charles.
Yes,
From This is all about Charles, right? As you guys already know, Charles is the one who really runs the show when it comes to Brockmire. Really, like, this kid is like he is the head of all of everything that has to do with Brockmire. He produces and distributes the podcast. He puts the gift bags together. If you guys don't know already know about the gift bags, is those gift bags when every time Brockmire has a special lady over, at the end of the day, the end of the night, or in the next in the morning, he passes out a gift bag to them. And there was a whole joke about it. You should watch it, and then also listen to our episode on that one.
absolutely.
So now we get to this one, and then you see like there's the which I appreciated, by the way. This part, the beginning of this episode, I really
Right.
appreciated the whole, like, with your editing a podcast, right? So he's editing the podcast, he's listening to it, he's actually falling asleep, and
Yeah,
then
he had fallen asleep listening to it, and it
yeah,
wakes him up, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, what's going on here?" Yeah,
exactly, right.
yeah,
And then he's like, oh shit, like, where's Brockmire? He got to go, and so he goes out downstairs and he looks at it, and you see Uribe. He is halfway in under his bed, right? And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
and he thinks it's Brockmire. He just sees 2 legs sticking out from under the bed, thinking that that's Brockmire.
Because he sees the jacket,
Yeah, the jacket. Yep,
the jacket that Brockmire always wears, which it wasn't him,
right.
right? It's interesting because this is the episode where Charles is finally turning 21 years old.
Yeah,
Okay. And there's a reason for why this day, right? So he tells Uribe, where is Brockmire? He's like, oh, we had a great night. It's like, that was 3 days ago. Right, 3 days ago. And so he goes like, don't worry about it. I know how to do this. I know how to handle this. He goes on social media, and then boom, boom, boom. He looks, he types Brockmire and then finds him,
exactly.
which was interesting. And this is the part, and I know you noticed this part of it right there. It's like, like, look at what I got and everything. He shows up, knocks on the door, and, and you know, he was like, where is he?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. He left about an hour
He's
ago.
been gone an hour. I don't know
Right.
where he's at now.
Which was interesting because she says that's like, this dude was trying to,
I'm gonna let you say it because
he's trying to eat my ass. Like, how I'm like, what?
she's like, "Who goes for dessert until before they've had the dinner?" You know?
Yeah. And so and there's a theme here, right? Already,
Right.
there's a theme building around that.
Exactly.
Because Hank Azaria, who is the creator of the whole series, pretty much, or the character Brockmire, he's making a point that's like, to on this season, he's like, ass. It's all about the ass for him
Yeah.
on this one. On this, Brackmeyer is all about the ass.
Yeah.
And so he was like, who's try she goes like, who tries to go for dessert, before trying to dinner, right?
Yeah.
And Charles goes and asks, was like, where is he? You know, Eventually goes to the point where like it's to the same bar that he already knows that he took Charles to in episode 1. He knows where it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's he is Brackmeyer's drunk as shit, obviously drunk as shit, and so he pulls Brackmeyer out and he goes like, your breath smells like ass.
He's all right. Yep. He's like,
Oh my god.
of course it does. So
So this is where, my question is, so far up to this point, is Brockmeyer getting better or is he just getting worse?
I think this is well, like I said last week too. It's like without Jules there, without everything that he had gotten
Everything is
into,
spiraled out of control.
he's further and further out of control because he doesn't have a control, and Charles can only do so much to control him, and he does everything he can, but at the same time, he's the moneymaker for Charles too. So his
He's
stories are
yeah.
what makes it what it is. So he kind of has to balance letting him be as nutty and wild and crazy as he is, but rein him in a little bit here and there as he can as well.
And there's a thought that I've been having about this one. Is a okay, so his ultimate goal has always been get back to the majors, right?
Right.
But in my opinion, Brackmeyer is doing a little bit of self-sabotaging.
He is.
I think he's
And
purposely kind of doing this, or subconsciously, like self-sabotaging his chances of ever making it to the majors
right.
at this point, right? Like, listen, there's still two more seasons left
Yeah.
of this, so we haven't watched all of them yet, and I haven't, to be honest with you. But like in my opinion, I feel like he is self-sabotaging himself to get the job. This
Right.
is my opinion up to this point.
Right. And just like with Charles, he's become so reliant on Charles doing certain things that even like when he's in the booth, when Charles gets him out of the
Yeah,
bar, gets him back in the booth, he's doing the game, he's drinking the beers, he's like waving the bottle around. He's like, "Hey, I'm out of
he does
beer."
everything for him.
Yeah. And he's like waiting for Charles to give him a beer. And then something happens in the game and there's a button to push for a sound effect.
Yeah,
And
I noticed that right away.
and all he's gotta do is touch it himself,
Just
but
hit
he
him himself. He won't
he
do it.
he points at it and is like, "Hey, where are you? You gotta hit that button for me," when it's actually right there for you to do it yourself. Like,
Is
so he is just becomes so self-reliant.
That's what I was just gonna say. It's like,
Yeah,
was like he can do it himself. Like,
sure.
or is he one of those people that he's thinking that like, I'm just giving Charles a job. Like, this is if I do these things, then Charles doesn't have a job.
Well, and maybe you're onto something there too, because later in the episode when he finds out how much they're making and he realizes he's on the short end of the straw of the 60/40. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute, really? I thought I was the one paying you," and Charles is like, "No, I'm the one paying you."
Yeah,
So,
like you're my employee
yeah, he's
technically,
actually working for Charles when he thinks Charles is working for him.
which was interesting, right? Because
Yeah,
now we're getting this dynamic in which at the beginning of in season 1, Brockmeyer was the one who was he was the face. He's the one that's doing everything. On
right.
this one, if you think about it, Charles is doing 99% of all the work,
Yep.
right behind the scenes and everything. And then, all of the merchandise, which we see that he has like a little sweat shop going on in the ballpark, which is hilarious. And then he pays off the guy and doesn't say anything, you know what I mean? And so technically, Brockmeyer at this point has just become the talent. That's it. That's all he is
Yes,
to Charles. Charles is like, listen, I'm the one who runs this. Without me, none of this works.
exactly, exactly.
Which is a good thing for us to discuss because now we get to the which I it was one of the funniest things in this episode was he finally invites all of his family come over for his birthday. He invites his family for his birthday,
Right.
right? His mom, her husband, his dad, his sisters, right? The twins, which by the way they look like robots. It was so spot on by Brockmeyer, right?
Right.
And so we get to like they're made he's talking to his mom. Is like, hey, it's a Michelin star, and she's like, wait, is it about tires?
That was the funniest thing. The mom gets so caught up in
The
the
fact that like the
tire,
Michelin
and he
name,
keeps trying to explain, "No, that just means it's a good restaurant." And he's like, "There are no tires involved. There's nothing about tires."
and then he goes like, goodbye, mom.
Bye, mom.
Like I'm done with you. Like I can't be doing this with you, right?
Right.
So like, well, I'll see you there,
Yeah.
right? And then so he's getting these shoes. So he like this at the in the same time he's getting these shoes for himself. Like these are the ones that he want. Like so he is like this kid has set up a life for himself in New Orleans,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah, and he's like you said, he discovered in season 1 that this podcast was a way for him to do what he likes to do because he
Hmm.
doesn't care about baseball.
No, 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 no.
But the stories and how he can turn this into a business and it fits what he wants. You know, the shoes, the clothes, the lifestyle, and
Everything.
everything fits perfectly for Charles. And basically, he uses Brockmire to get there. And Brockmire doesn't even really realize he's being used. It's just he thinks like you said, he thinks he's the one that's using Charles.
Does he realize he's being used, or does he
I don't
really,
think he
or does he care?
it may be a little bit of both, but I don't think he has a clue that he's being used. I think he's
Brockmeyer
just
has no clue of a lot going on,
right.
except
He's
for what he's good at, which is calling a baseball game. That's
right.
really the only thing that he's good at, and telling stories.
As long as he can call baseball, tell stories, do drugs, drink, and get women, he's fine.
You got a
That's
message, by the way.
that,
Jump
yeah,
up.
yeah, bat,
Yeah. And so, but yeah, you're right. So we get to, like, so he gets a phone call
right,
while he's at the shoe store. He gets a phone call and everything. And so that Brockmeyer took downers instead of, like, some of the drugs that he usually has and everything, right?
right,
And so he goes like, so he rushes to Brockmeyer's, right?
yeah,
Which is very funny. So, when he gets there, he's worried and everything that Brockmeyer is dying and everything, which he's not because he's throwing him a party.
right. He's like got balloons everywhere,
Happy
and
birthday
right
hanging from the ceiling.
because Charles had to remind him before that he had written on his hand
Yeah.
that it was Charles's birthday.
And then he's gonna have to go on by himself,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
He's like, like you got a driver. He's good for 24 hours. And though and here's the funny thing. I don't think he didn't even realize it then. But Brockmeyer asked for some money, and he went like this,
Mhm.
right? He goes like, put this amount of money, right, that fits right under this,
Yeah.
and that's when you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Brockmeyer is the one that's like dependent. I saw it right away. I know you noticed it right away. It's
Right.
like Charles is the adult in this relationship here.
Absolutely. He's the one that controls everything. He's the one that, tries to keep Brockmire under control as best he can, but he's also the one who doesn't let him like blow everything that he's got.
Mhm.
And so it's almost like he's got Brockmire on an allowance, if
Yeah.
you will. And Brockmire doesn't even realize that. And so and then they get to the situation you're talking about with the birthday party, and Brockmire's hired him a prostitute. And he's like, "Oh, so you got me a prostitute, but you're gonna have sex with her first." He's like, "Oh, no, 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 no. You get
You're
to have
good.
her you're gonna
You
have
go
her
first,
first, and then me, and
and
then
then
you,
you.
and then me, and then you, and then me." He's like, "We will go back and forth." And he's like, no. Like, Brockmire's idea of what he thinks Charles wants and needs
It's
is so far
totally off.
off of what Charles
Wait,
really wants.
right, so he had the dollar where he reminds himself that
Yeah,
it is Charles's birthday.
yeah,
He got Charles, what was it? A cake,
yep.
2 bottles of, was it scotch?
I think it was
Scotch,
Scotch.
but like, "Oh, wait, no, those are for me.
Yep.
I got you a cake. I ate my half of the cake already. I'm not feeling so good about it," he says, and then he also got him a sex worker.
Right.
And so, Charles, eventually they go in the room and he goes, "Can I talk to you? Can I be honest with you?" Right? And she goes like, "Sure." He starts going into this whole thing and everything. And, she's eating toaster strudels. That's what it was,
Yeah.
and so, and he goes, "And you're eating again." So she finally goes, "All right, fine. I'll listen. I'll listen."
Yeah.
But she goes, "It's like, oh, I'll listen for $300. I won't say anything to Brockmire."
Right.
You know what I mean? And she goes like, "You don't want to have sex, do you?" And he goes like, "No, I'm
Right.
not interested at all." And I was like, "That'll cost you." I was like, "But he already paid you 150 and now you are charging me double?" She goes, "Yeah, that's what it is. Take it or leave it, pretty
Right.
much, you know?"
Yep. And so now she's got 450 on him,
Mhm.
and then later you find out that she got another 300 out of Brockmire for something else, so she ended
Yeah.
up making all this money off of them for nothing.
So so he leaves, he gets dressed, and he gets there at right at 7 o'clock. And his dad, obviously military person, he goes like, "Looks like you're late." And he's like, "Nope, I'm actually on time."
Right on time.
Right on time, 7 o'clock. Which I've also heard this before, but not by just military people. Always heard this before, that if you're on time, you're late.
Yes, exactly.
You know what
That's
I mean?
a lot of military people. Yeah, and he turns to the girls and he's like, what does that mean, girls? You're late."
Yeah. And so, and by the way, which he also didn't know, which caught him off guard, is that they've been there for 4 days.
Right.
Like,
He thinks they just showed up, yeah.
that's a family. Like, bro, why haven't you talked to your son within those words? Like, what part of like your brain does not compute that like you should tell your son that you're there?
Right. That goes back to the dysfunctionality of what Charles has grown up with and is trying to overcome in his life as well.
And here comes his mom.
Yeah,
And well, first of all, here comes the stepdad, pretty
yeah,
much, for better,
right.
which like he plays a total loser of a stepdad,
It does.
right? Because the stepmom and stepdad, they're like there and they're like, very intimate with each other. It's like, if I wasn't married, if I wasn't married, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And stepdad is like, "Yeah, it is what it is." Like, dude,
Right.
like, can we be like, more like, more independent, you know what I mean? Like, but he doesn't really care.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, so we get that, all that. And then all of a sudden Brockmire shows up.
Yeah.
And so this is where things just got interesting. And I'm starting to I have the utmost respect for Charles, right? But I also feel bad for this kid.
Right. Well, because, his family also they
Very
see him.
manipulative.
Well, they're manipulative, but they see him as, he's doing this podcast with this, down and out
Middle age.
middle-aged sportscaster who, is just like the scourge of the earth, I guess is the best
Mhm.
way to put it, that they see.
His
They don't
sugar
they don't see
daddy.
they don't see it as a career. They're like, they just think he's wasting his life. They just
But
totally think he's wasting his life.
what goes into a lot where, like a lot of the times as parents, they don't know everything that these kids are doing. Like and I'll take for my own example, like my parents have no clue about any of the stuff that I do.
Right,
None whatsoever.
right.
Right. And still to this day, I remember this vividly. And this is where I made the connection with Charles is, and this is when I was still living in Cleveland. My parents were visiting, and I was like, "Listen, Dad, Mom," is like, "Listen, give me about an hour or so. I gotta go upstairs into my office. I gotta go do an interview for my podcast." Right? And so I go out there and everything. Like, yeah, yeah, go ahead and everything. And he may have been joking or not, but like this is the one time that my dad said to me, as soon as he sees me when I'm done and everything, it's like, "Oh, are you done wasting your time with that podcast?"
Right.
Right?
Right. Because they don't see that as a
They don't see it as a career. They don't see this as
career, as income. They don't see it
exactly.
as any kind of physical getting things done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And dude, it's been years.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been years. And that has still stuck with me.
Right.
So when this happens to Charles, when this like e- e- this self-realization finally when he Charles is finally realizing like, man, I love you love your parents and you'll always love him and everything, but you're like, we gotta go our own separate ways here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so this is when like, they hand him a plane ticket.
Right.
I was like, "What do you mean?" It was like, "Going back to Morris." I'm like, first of all, why the fuck would you go back to Morristown? Which is, like, you know what I mean? Why?
Exactly.
Never.
What about Morristown is better than New Orleans?
100%, right? And then which was like, this drove me nuts
Yep.
when she says, "I have cancer."
Right.
I'm like, "Damn."
Yeah.
Emotional cancer, like, you don't like, if you're a person that, like, are very manipulative, right? And what was the word that Brockmeyer said? Trying to figure it out now, of course, and I don't remember it, but he used a very specific word, to I think it was, like, along the lines of being manipulative, to with Charles, right?
Yes.
And so, he goes like, "And trust me, I know. I do this."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, your son is very successful, your son is doing this and that, and like you should be happy, for him. And then, Charles was like, "Thank you for sticking up for me and everything." And it's like, we gotta go.
Right.
I love you guys. We gotta go.
Well, and that's the thing. Brockmeyer shows up at the restaurant and they're all looking at him like, okay, what's he doing
Which is
here?
interesting because Brockmeyer knows about each and every single one of
Right.
them.
He knows all about them and they're just looking at him like he's some kind of fool. But what's even funnier is the waitress is the woman that he was with.
Yes.
And, and she brings the drinks out. And then she has the confrontation with Brockmeyer that they all see. And then they're all freaking out like, wait a minute, what in the heck
Mhm.
is going on here? And okay, so he is actually as bad as we thought he was based on that
Just
interaction.
based on that interaction at all, which it's not the full interaction.
True. And so they go back in the kitchen, they have their conversation, come back out to the table, and then that's where the whole, do you know what your son made last year?
Right. Like, Brockmeyer finally has to say, "All right, enough is enough.
Yeah.
I gotta stand up for this kid because obviously you guys are, one, fully taking advantage of him, and two, like, you guys don't realize the kinda special kid that this is right here."
Yeah.
Right?
Right. They
Like,
they
they
Brockmeyer sees in Charles what they don't see in Charles.
100%.
Regardless of uh how he interacts with him and
Mhm.
relies on him,
Yep.
he still sees the value of Charles and what Charles can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which leaves us to the point of, like, "All right, tell him how much you make," and he goes like, "Oh, I made $600,000 last year."
Right.
And that caught Brockmeyer off guard as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're gonna put a pin on this. We're gonna talk about this, you and me."
Right. He's like, "Wait a minute. You made what? I only made 400,000." He's like, "So you're getting the 60 of the 40, the 60 and I get the 40?"
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but again, that shows you that they're making $1,000,000 a year on this podcast.
That's exactly
That's
what they don't
basically what
realize.
it boils down to.
Right. I was like, "Wait, hold on. I made 400,000, you made," but Brockmeyer is only the star of this show, right?
Right.
Charles is the head of this show.
Charles is the one doing the work.
Charles
Charles
is the
is the one that
CEO.
exactly. He's the one doing the work. He's the one doing the editing. He's the one that has the idea, and it's as it should be.
And right, because and I think Charles has reminded Brockmeyer a couple times, like, I pay you, like you work for me,
Yeah, right.
right? Like this is where finally, like, okay, we're starting to see the dynamic built itself, a new dynamic,
Yeah,
like we were talking about earlier, right? Like where Brockmeyer was the head at the beginning of the season in season one, but now season two, Charles is the head, right? He's the CEO. He's the one that's like saying, no, I control the money. I give you the money,
yep,
not the other way around,
right,
right? Will you live in my house?
yeah,
That you know what I mean? That's not your house, it's my house.
yeah.
I own this house.
And so what you're seeing is with this episode and episode 1 of this season, very much like the first couple of episodes, excuse me, the first couple of episodes of season 1, they're laying the foundation for the season in the first few episodes because there's been very little baseball outside of the little, the little competition on the field in season 1 between him and Raj. Now it's going to get back to the baseball competition.
Mhm.
Um, but what I find even so interesting is that when he threw up all over the shoes that Charles spent all this money to buy because they were the only pair in his size in New Orleans, and he wanted those.
Yeah.
And then when he went back to the apartment when the sex worker was there
Yeah.
and they're eating the cake
He threw up all
and
over
he
those.
threw
Yeah.
up inside the box all over the shoes. And then what you find out is he still has a heart that you barely see sometimes because at the end of the episode he gives him a new pair of shoes. He's like, "Wait a minute. Where did
Mhm.
you get these? These were the last pair." And he's like, "I know somebody." He's like, "You called Joe Buck, didn't you?"
He goes, I called Joe Buck. Here's a couple of things that I wanna put out there. I wanna have the discussion about this. First of all, we forgot to mention that Uribe was let go.
Right, yes, because he's retired now.
He's retired, but it
Yeah,
was actually that he was fired.
right.
He was too slow for
Yeah,
everything, on
yeah,
everything. So, which was the right decision. He's like, in his 50s at this
right,
point, right? But the title of this episode of episode 2 is The Platoon Player,
right,
right? And this is a very interesting it because and I got some questions and some things to talk about here, but like the platoon player is somebody who doesn't necessarily play every day, but is used strategically depending on the matchup, right? So that's a platoon player.
yeah.
And so I find it very interesting because of what everything that's been going on. Who is the platoon player? Is Brockmeyer the platoon player, or is Charles the platoon player in this situation?
Uh, Good question. I
But
mean,
that's something that I can't. I'm still trying to figure out myself
yeah,
as we're having this conversation. In my opinion, I think Brockmeyer is the platoon player at this point. You're only being put in when you are needed, not when you want to be, right? Because you're not really the star. You only are good at technically two things right now that from what I see.
yeah,
Well, three. I'll mention it. One, calling a game.
right,
He's really good at that. Two, being a storyteller, which is you got to hand it to him on that one. He's a great storyteller.
right.
Obviously, that's why the podcast is so successful. And then number three, he is really good at getting absolutely hammered beyond belief.
Well, true. And if you to what you're saying for the definition of a platoon player, if you go back from the start of the series,
Yeah.
season 1, um, Jules needed someone to try and help save the team.
Mm-hmm.
She brings in Brockmeyer, the platoon player.
One hundred
She
percent.
throughout the entire season, when she needs a promotion, when she needs anything done, she goes to him for that situation. Charles, who has no desire to do anything with with baseball specifically, doesn't like baseball,
Still to this day,
to
really
the
doesn't.
doesn't. He sees something immediately in Brockmire
Mhm.
when he starts filming him and he starts posting the videos and he starts seeing the social media aspect before social media becomes anything like we know it today. Um, I mean, he's doing social media literally 10 years ago as
Yeah.
of today's date. So he sees the forefront of that and he uses Brockmire in that instance. And
Mhm.
just like with the live shows. So I think you're spot on in that Brockmire in the whole scheme of things is the platoon player
Mhm.
of his own show,
Of his own story.
of his own story. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And so, like, that was my, that was my whole thinking. I've been thinking about this for a while. Like, and I'm glad that I asked you this question because it's like Brockmire just went from, granted, this let's not get this twisted, right? The he is the star of the show. He is the show.
Yeah.
Without Brockmire, there is no show. However, um, you know, we can say that Charles is the one that's like, he is the superstar because he is the one who is able to produce a podcast. He is the one who is able to produce a play-by-play game.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He is also running a side business on top of that, right? So, he's becoming very successful when Brockmire is only successful at what he is able to do, which
Right.
is calling the game and then being a good storyteller.
Well, and if you think about when Joe Buck brought Brockmire in
Mhm.
back into the
Yeah.
club, he brought him in to sort of make fun of him. And
Yeah.
then it ended up being that by doing so, they found out that the reason that there was even this whole rivalry dispute was because of something else that totally flipped the script on their relationship. And so going forward, his and Joe Buck's relationship's going to be different because he was brought in as a platoon on this uh this club,
Yeah.
so to speak, and everything changed after that.
Does Brockmire see himself as Charles? Like he sees like a little bit of himself in Charles as he is struggling with his family?
Mm,
Because he had that same situation growing up, right? Like what his dad was very like dismissive of baseball. He's very, like did not think that he was gonna make
a
ever a
little.
career of everything, right? And so I think a little bit of him is like, like I need to save him from himself because I don't want him to go down the path that I went.
Yeah, because there were those times in season 1 when they had the flashback,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I think that, when he has those moments of clarity,
Yeah.
he does
Mhm.
see himself, yes.
Now, let me ask you this. Based on everything that we've seen up to this point, do you think that Charles would be successful without Brockmire or he is successful because of Brockmire?
I mean,
Because
as a
he found gold. Let's be honest, he found gold in Brockmire and everything on the
true.
podcast and everything.
I mean, in a true world, Charles would be successful with anybody. I think this proves that if he can be successful with Brockmire, he could be successful, period. Because I think he knows what he wants to do. I just think he specifically is as successful as he is now because it's Brockmire. But,
Yeah.
if outside of this story, if he no longer worked with Brockmire, he would find someone else and
Which
he
he
would
kinda
be
did.
yeah,
If you think about it, you saw that, right?
true, true. Right. And I think he could be successful and will be successful. As any show we ever watch, we always wonder whatever happened to those characters eventually
Yeah.
in the fake world that we saw them in. I think Charles would be successful no matter what.
and the reason why I think that Charles would be successful without Brockmeyer, I think he is the Brockmeyer is the reason why he started doing what he's doing, but I think he will be a lot more successful than with or without Brockmeyer he would be, because obviously the owner was like, hey, we can do a podcast on you talking about shoes and fashion and things like that, and he goes like he asked the owners like, can you talk for an hour? I was like, yeah, I can talk for an hour. I can talk for an hour right now if you want me to,
Right.
right? And so I think that the lessons that he's learning that as he is going from being an intern to now running this $1 million company has led him to this point where he goes like, I'm able to tap into new talent. I can create a media company that can push out more episodes in different genres of podcasting, right? Because he is looking into the podcasting world. Let's be honest
Right.
with, like, I think he knows that the podcasting is where it's at,
Yeah.
which is interesting because that's 10 years ago from what we're at today, which is
Right.
2026, and we're having this conversation about a podcast where you and me we're doing it live, but obviously it's also a podcast as well, right? Because we put it as a podcast later on, right?
Exactly.
But like, I think that in my opinion, and I want love to hear from you guys who are listening, live or listening later on in the week. Can Charles become a lot more successful with or without Brockmeyer?
I think he's more successful with him as long as he can keep him from imploding on himself.
Oof. Well, that's a hard one to say. It's like, and we're about to find out in episode 3. We haven't watched it yet. We are
Yep.
doing it. We watch it during the week, and then that's it. We come and we talk about it here live on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. So, guys, we're gonna leave it there.
Yep.
I think that was a great episode for tonight. If guys would love to, if you guys don't mind, go ahead and hit the subscribe button wherever you are watching this, whether on YouTube, whether on TikTok or on Facebook. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow the mayor, follow the dad head on all the socials. We are everywhere, even Blue Sky, guys. We're there. So make sure you guys that we will see you guys on Monday night. We have Break Even Sports Monday night, 8:30 to 10 Eastern time. Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock is the DHC Sports Show. That is from 8 to 10. And we're going to be talking about some cool stuff, sports, right? The NFL is back,
Yep.
the preseason, soccer, all of that, guys. We're going to be talking about everything there. So we're going to leave it there. Have a wonderful night, wonderful day, afternoon, morning, and always make sure that you guys support the minor leagues. We'll see you guys.
Bye.